over 30 years, Stanley Kubrick's adaptation of The Shining has left perplexing questions in the minds of everyone who has seen it, and time has been powerless to push this enigmatic film out of our collective consciousness. Kubrick's The Shining was created with the sole purpose of leaving audiences searching for answers to a mystery that has no solution. After viewing it, we find ourselves scratching our heads over its unanswered questions and its many unforgettable, enigmatic images. But it's what's hidden in this movie that is truly fascinating. You're about to discover that the most unbelievable aspect of The Shining is what you didn't notice, right there on the screen. And it's precisely what you didn't notice that matters. Everyone expects strange things to happen in a horror story, but nothing like what I'm about to show you has ever been seen to this extent in a film before. It's similar to the supposed clues to Paul McCartney's death on Beatles albums, or Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon synchronizing with The Wizard of Oz. Both are suspected. Neither has ever been admitted to by the artists. Both were well hidden, and both were discovered by fans. The difference here is that most viewers never even knew to look for clues at all. Something is lurking beneath the surface of this masterpiece, hidden from our view, and Stanley Kubrick fools the audience into believing everything he shows us, without question. The Shining is truly a unique experience. No one in filmmaking has ever done anything like this. Even with today's CGI and every other trick available, no audience has ever seen anything comparable to what Stanley Kubrick hid under the radar in this film. There has never been a more enigmatic movie experience than The Shining, and I have an interesting story to tell. My journey began on a summer day in 2005, when I was indulging in what seemed like an insane hobby, hunting for common visual errors and movie mistakes in one of my favorite films. But it wasn't visual errors that I ended up finding. I experienced one of those pivotal moments in life that unleashes a previously unimaginable chain of events, a moment of sheer luck in which I discovered far more than I ever bargained for. Discoveries that will change how you view this movie forever. Much more than one would ever think possible has been deliberately hidden in The Shining. And the audience never realizes how Stanley Kubrick, like any great magician, holds our complete attention in the palm of his hand, directing our eyes to exactly where he wants them. Everyone loves a great mystery, and with a little guidance on where to look, it becomes obvious just how much there is to notice, and how many cryptic secrets the Overlook Hotel truly holds. Many who attempt to explain this film see things that aren't there, and then wonder why. I'm saying, look at it differently and see what you've missed. If you're trying to unravel the greatest enigma in film history, you need to use a microscope, not a magnifying glass from a crackerjack box. In attempting to understand Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, we must separate fact from conjecture, and two things must temper any discussion: what we know and what we don't know. A theory is a supposition or a system of ideas intended to explain something based on general principles independent of the thing being explained. There are many theories about this movie, but the key to everything hidden here lies in three things that are not independent of it. Three things we know and that cannot be changed or disputed. 1. The images Stanley Kubrick placed in the finished film. 2. The dialogue in the finished film. And 3. The exact way he used and altered Stephen King's source novel to make it his own. I use all three in this work, and they cannot be altered, debated, or ignored. This is the starting point that must precede any attempt to explain the mysteries contained within this film. We begin with what we know for certain and move forward, and that is exactly what I have done. I didn't come up with what you're about to read off the top of my head. This work is based on undoctored images, accurate dialogue, and the exact alterations Stanley Kubrick made to Stephen King's source novel. For some, there may be a certain frustration in not being able to change what is unchangeable, but these elements are what they are. Stanley Kubrick created them that way. All that's required is a little guidance in knowing exactly where to look. What I present here is not a theory. It is simple, careful observation. After reading this, it should be clear that I work and think well outside the box. Yet everything I point out exists only because of Stanley Kubrick's intense perfectionism. It's all there, unless one chooses to overlook what they don't want to see. Kubrick placed everything needed to understand this film directly on the screen. Did you ever notice that, while watching Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, you never hear any of the classic sounds associated with horror films? Doors never squeak, windows never slam, floors never creak. There are no chimes, elevators don't clang, and no howling wind rushes through the halls to extinguish candles. There is no moaning, no ghostly wailing, and we never even hear a clock ticking. The Overlook Hotel never makes so much as a single sound. Yet because of this film, everyone knows the name of the most famous haunted hotel in cinematic history. There are no shadows, no laughter, and no crying. Physical contact is minimal as well. Jack rarely touches Wendy throughout the entire film. It is a profoundly different experience from what audiences typically expect. In this visually enigmatic masterpiece, we are left with many unanswered questions, some of which I will attempt to shed new light on in this article. Is the Overlook Hotel really as haunted as people believe, or is something else at work beneath the surface? Why does Kubrick repeatedly draw our attention to a specific set of numbers, and what purpose do they serve within the film's structure? Why were so many elements altered from Stephen King's original novel, and what do those changes reveal about Kubrick's true intentions? What is the significance of cast members being filmed entirely through mirror reflections? And why does Kubrick return to this visual device so often? Why are there so many subtle visual elements that disappear, reappear, shift positions, or even change color throughout the film? What is the deeper meaning behind Kubrick's precise and deliberate use of color? Why did he place a crushed red Volkswagen so conspicuously in one scene? Which characters actually possess the supernatural ability to shine? And how is this communicated without explicitly telling us? Where does Jack Torrance truly go in the end? Why are Native American symbols and imagery hidden throughout the Overlook Hotel? Why was the final hospital scene removed from the film after its initial release? And perhaps the greatest mystery of all, what are we really being directed toward by the date shown at the very end of the movie?